Today is December 22nd, 2025. It is 3:56 a.m., 4 a.m. All right, let's go on X. I have a lot to share with you. There's some stuff I want to say personally, but I don't want to start it and then give myself work and then delete it later. Pretty much what I want to say. What I want to say is on my community board regarding me and my husband going to the driving range yesterday. Go check it out. If I start talking here, I'm gonna say much more than I really wanna say. He called me out on my BS. Okay, so this is the first tweet. When I say Meghan keeps these people in jobs, I mean she single-handedly is the reason that these people still have jobs. These people have never gone to the length they go to when it comes to reporting on working royals. They need to thank her. Alright, so this is a minute and 16 second screenshot, okay?
Let's run the first video. Meghan Markle returned to Instagram in early January on her personal account @Meghan.
She hugs one of her children who comes...
Incorrect! Oh. And now you're out of the game. We will continue. She posted this surprise beach video, but what does she write?
Yeah. Isn't it something like
2025?
2025, yeah.
Is that what you like? Yeah, and that is correct. Gotta wait for the question, Chris.
Are you kidding me?
There you go. She writes in the sand 2025.
She'd had a couple of goes, hadn't she? Because eagle-eyed viewers could see that there were other...
Yeah, that she tried and they'd robbed them over. Harry and Meghan went viral again in June after the Duchess posted this video of them dancing in a hospital room. For the point, I need both the year it was taken and which of their children was being born.
So it's...
we were first.
No, she was first.
Lilibet. Yeah. It's Princess Lilibet. So that would have been...
I'm going to have to rush you. You've got to give an answer. Got to give an answer, otherwise I've got to give it to the other team.
Okay, just take 2021.
3,
2021.
2, 1. Correct.
Oh, no. This is going terrible.
Oh my God, I can't believe these people. Let's see. Okay, ITV News. How well have you been following Meghan Markle, Charlene quizzes Chris and Lizzie on the annual Talking Royals Christmas quiz? Play along by watching the full episode on YouTube or listen to wherever you get your podcast. I can't believe these people. Alright, let's see some of the responses. Okay, the biggest embarrassment, and this is Charlene. I used to hold her in such high regard. I'm genuinely disappointed. There is no black solidarity in UK when it comes to those in media. I saw her whenever she reports on Meghan, she always goes with the narrative. She will repeat things that's untrue and even at times will repeat things that could be seen as microaggression. It's sad to see. It's disgusting. It's what it is. Alright, I'm just reading what's on the screen here and then that's it. It's actually fully nauseating and Chris Chip is such a loser pretending like he has no idea about anything. Yeah! That's what I was thinking too. He is just as obsessed with Meghan as all the others. Funny thing is that he knows everything single answer, but doesn't want to appear like the stalker that all are. The stalker that they all are. It's pathetic and funny. They didn't do this with any other one, just the Black Princess gets a quiz created for her. Like actually, they didn't do it for anyone else, only Meghan. Alright, so let's leave that alone. Let's go to the next one. Oh my God, so many things going on globally and these people are just focusing on that. You know, I'm gonna pause for a second because when I went on X, I saw another video. So let me see what it is about before I go on to that. Maybe I might insert it into the list. All right, never mind. It's not worth sharing. Okay, next week. Loving these photos of the Sussexes, wishing this beautiful family all the blessing in 2026. Alright, so there's Meghan and Harry. That was during the Invictus Canada. And this is the picture they released for the Christmas holiday. Okay, Meghan, happy holidays from our family to yours. It's funny, when I went to look at IG while I was recording, sharing this for the first time, I didn't see it. It's somebody who saw the video and said, oh, it's further down. Okay, so there's some pictures with Harry with Nacho. Nacho is a very good guy. Very good guy. Alright, so that's that. Let's go to the next tweet. May his family, by the way, Nacho's family, happy holiday, because he's one true friend that been with Harry throughout all ups and downs with him. Okay, next tweet. They don't tweet about the other brother because they know no one on the corner has swagger like Harry. Yeah, that looks really nice. You know who I would like Harry to play polo against? Either against or with. It's a prince. What's his name? Just look at the screen. I have a picture of him. I came to aware of him. I don't know much about him, but aware of him during couple years ago. They were saying the sexiest royals or something like that. He was one of those. He does look sexy. He has the body. He work out and things like that. All right. So there's this. Prince Harry's swagger has always been next level. The British media, Prince Harry is miserable away from the royal family. He needs to come home. Meanwhile, Prince Harry, let me just go through it really quickly because I don't want to get flagged. That's when he was at Columbia. Okay. Absolutely no one on fire. No one. There's that. Let me pause that video. This video came out so amazing. Yeah, I shared it on my last video that I did, that I had it in. I'm sorry, I just can't show the videos properly. YouTube flagged me left and right. I don't know if I'm the only one. Okay, whenever I'm showing videos, it's really hard to let it play, and I really want to share them with you, but I just can't. Otherwise, my channel's gonna be put down. So you saw the picture. I don't want it to be on my screen. So this will be the last tweet that I read on this tweet. I really didn't want to see Willie's face on my timeline, just like I'm doing on this video here. However, since I'm a compassion person, I'll occasionally share this picture for the Ranger and Royalist sake, as they voted him the most handsome bald man in the world. Oh my God, that was just, well, I wasn't talking about the sexiest bald man, but I was talking about the sexiest man. And they put William as the number one on all of them. All right, next tweet. The comment is closed. Prince Harry at the 2025 St. Regis World Snow Polo Championship. All right, so there's that. That's a very nice uniform, I would say, for the team. The color looks so very light-hearted. All right, next tweet. Okay, so there's that. Royalist. Netflix is only keeping the Sussexes around for a Princess Diana doc. Oh my God, these people are ridiculous. There's Princess Diana and there's Meghan. All right, let's read some of the comments. Also, it goes to show how desperate Tom is for exclusive. So I didn't read the celebrity thing. Usually celebrity, what she does is that she summarizes the article and then she will paste the article within her thing. And I don't want to read too much, so I'm just focusing on the tweets only. So it seems like based on this, is Tom Sykes who probably wrote something, and Kaiser Celebrity is talking about it. Right. Also, it goes to show how desperate Tom is for exclusives. This rings to me as him trying to rebuild his credibility after he gleefully ran stories that Charles was on his deathbed. Power has shifted to the heir. William has staged a palace coup, etc. Also, no legitimate Hollywood sources who have any knowledge of their deal with Netflix will speak to a nobody like Tom Sykes. Also, Ted Sarandos, I will argue, is obsessed with Meghan and he knows it. Would be foolish to let them go. Yeah, definitely. And at the same time, okay, business will always be business. Okay, before I say what I have to say here, before some of you come after me and say, I don't know and then don't get into their business. I understand all of that. When it comes to business, friendship doesn't come into play. Okay? The friendship can be separated with business. And there's some people who cannot compartmentalize these things or differentiate or keep them separate. There's some people who could. When they're talking about business, hey, the business hat comes on, they all business. There's no feeling that goes into their decision. And then once they finish, they make the deal. Guess what? They take the business hat off and then they go and hang out and enjoy life with whoever they just dismantle on the business setting. There's some people who could do that, but there are some who cannot. So, people do not live forever. And we do not know when anybody's gonna go. And I do not have experience in this setting, but I'm just talking in the business aspect. If I had money, this is what I would do. I don't have money, so my ass is staying behind the computer, okay? However, for Meghan and Harry, knowing the campaign that goes against them almost everywhere they go, if I were them, start saving money to build their own kind of streaming service. When Netflix decided to say, or if the CEO changed, okay, usually not always. CEOs sometimes, okay, I do not know the setting of Netflix, okay? Keep that in mind. I do not know. I'm just talking in general. Sometimes a company, okay, hires a CEO. The CEO can easily be an employee of that company. Now, if the owner of that particular business decided to change CEO, they could easily change the CEO just like any other employee. Okay? So if, let's say, a couple things could happen. Okay? They change the CEOs, or somebody dies. Okay? Nobody lives forever. Now, that kind of partnership that Meghan or the Sussexes will have with Netflix may not be there anymore after their contracts comes up. So, and a possibility if things change and it doesn't go accordingly, or you see how the royal family is trying to turn ads against the Sussexes. It was allegedly said that the palace, I'm not gonna name any specific names, it's in one of my videos when I read that particular either an article or a tweet. I'll put the screenshot for you of the thumbnails where I have it. Okay, it was allegedly said that the palace was trying to sabotage the Sussexes' deal with Netflix by doing some sort of a switch. They'll give them rights to whatever documentary about the royal family in exchange for Netflix not to sign up with the Sussexes. It was allegedly said that. Keep that in mind. Okay? So if I were the Sussexes, Netflix doesn't have to know what their plan is, their business plan, the Sussexes' business plan. The only thing that they care about is whatever the contract that they sign with the Sussexes. All right, while they still making their money, they doing work with Netflix, whatnot, they could start planning. If things falls out, okay, the Sussexes can create their own, similar to the O network. Okay, create their own, whatever, to stream their thing. That's what I would do. Okay? So they could have full control of everything. They don't have to worry about people undermining them or trying to backstab them and things like that. The only thing is, they just have to be careful who they hire to work for them in their production company and things like that. All right? So, anyway, that came to mind. I just thought I'd share it with you. Again, keep in mind, I have absolutely zero. Okay? You know what zero is? Nothing. Zero. I never step in a studio where I have an input in her entertainment or anything on television works. I have zero. Okay? But in a business perspective, this is where I'm talking. And then knowing all the negativity that surrounds the Sussexes, the odds that are against them, that's where I'm coming from. Because there are some people, even though they know the ethical aspect of things, the morality of things, and whenever a few bucks or pounds is dangling in front of them, all the ethic, morality, everything out the window. Money comes first. Okay? So that's the point, that's the perspective, that's the angle or the branch. There's many branches, but that's the branch I'm going for why I'm saying what I'm saying. Anyway, Harry and Meghan are smart people, okay? They know what they're doing. And if push come to shove, all right, they make enough money and they could just sit back and say, F it. We're trying to help people. They don't want to get help, so F it. When you look at the U.S. politics, okay, African American, like F it. They sit back and just watch those people who's hungry for power and money destroy the country. Okay, they're selling the country while the other countries was giving them bucks to destroy their own country, the U.S. Okay, and then they don't see, okay, if the country is gone, where they had full control of it, how do they think they're gonna operate in another culture, another country? You think they're gonna have the same grip and power? But anyway, that's a different thing. Let's leave it alone. The main thing is, if you own something, you have better control of it. I read this, okay? Did I finish with also Ted Sanderos? Ted Sarandos, I will argue, is obsessed with Meghan and he knows it. Would be foolish to let him go. And let's not forget as well, Netflix has two CEO, okay? Co-CEOs. But I don't know who's the owner. Let me pause for a second and look for it. All right, so it's a public traded company. All right, so the co-founder was Reed Hastings. So Ted Sanderos and the other guy and Craig Peters are the CEOs. All right. Yeah, so while I'm at it, I asked Google, can Netflix fire Ted Sanderos and Greg Peters? The answer is yes, just like I was saying. Yes, Netflix can fire its co-CEOs, Ted Sanderos and Craig Peters, as they are employees. There it is. As they are employees of the company, but it will require a decision from a board of directors. All right, so they're just employees. So this is the thing. Right now, Meghan may have good relation with both co-CEOs. All right, but if I don't want to give ideas, but the mentality of the institution in the UK. They have look how they dismantle what's Harry's thing, Centre Bally. Okay, just keep that in mind. Even though Centre Bally is much lower thing and a different vision of things, but they are managing by board members and different things. I don't know too much about those corporate things and things like that, but just look how they dismantle Centre Bally. Okay, they undermine the two co-founders by doing some of the thing. It's like chopping up a tree, starting at the foundation, breaking up until they get to the head, and then I don't know what's happening with Centre Bally. So just think of it that way. Money talks in these areas. Okay? So this is why I'm saying Harry and Meghan should start planning. If Netflix is no longer wants to make deals with them, how they gonna do their things, distribute their product, their things, and you're already hearing the Rangers left and right discrediting executive producers. Okay, in one video I had to look it up and paste it and put it on that particular tweet that was talking nonsense. All right, so that's that. Let's read some more and then move on. I just find the whole concept so icky. No one will allow Diana to rest in peace. Honoring her memory is one thing. Monetizing a dead woman constantly is a whole other thing. Well, according to the UK, it seems like, okay, from my point of view, it seems like when those people are alive, they don't speak.
You know, the family motto is never complain, never explain, but it's just a motto.
It's when they're dead. For some reason, the derangers and the royal rats seems to know exactly what the dead is saying.
And it doesn't really hold.
There's a lot of complaining and a lot of explaining.
Endless.
Private being done through leaks.
Through leaks. They will feed or have a conversation with the correspondent, and that correspondent will literally be spoon-fed information and write the story, and in the bottom of it they will say that they've reached out to Buckingham Palace for comment. But the whole story is Buckingham Palace commenting. So when we're being told for the last 6 years we can't put a statement out to protect you, but you do it for other members of the family, there becomes a point when silence is betrayed.
Alright, I love the abject stupidity of royalists because it's clear the voter knows they're idiots and revel in exploiting that. They don't even pretend that their lives are logical or contextual, just spew what comes to mind because they're genuinely talking to the intellectually challenged. Alright, Netflix is not keeping them around. They have a working contract. A working contract, like many other people who produce content. Pretty much, yeah, this person gets it. There are enough diner ducks, no need for more. What Netflix is interesting in is serializing the best-selling non-fiction books ever, i.e. Spare. It will be a box office goal. All right, let's leave that alone. Let's go to the next tweet. I didn't want this to be too long, but it seems like my opinion took a long chunk of time. Okay, so there's this here. 50% of Brits are cutting back on Christmas while the King pockets a £58 million pay raise. William parades George at a soup kitchen for photos while sitting on a £1.3 billion estate. It's not hand-on charity. It's a distraction from the elite what? That's it. He could have done, you know, I'm not from the UK, so I don't know if he personally gave money. You know what? Let me just listen.
I'm sure businesses there are hoping for a busy few days.
Morning, Sean. Well, this is peak chocolate season for the chocolatiers here, and they're certainly hoping that their biggest trade will happen over the next 3 days. They're getting ready, as you can see through the windows, for sales to begin later on. But although they've seen a fairly decent footfall over the last week or so, what they're not seeing is spending. And they're certainly not alone. As you mentioned, there's this new research out, and according to it, just over half of Brits plan on buying fewer gifts to keep costs down. Just over a third will either host fewer guests or none at all, and just under half will opt to stay at home instead of visiting friends and family. Now, that research was commissioned by the Liberal Democrats, and they are urging the Prime Minister to put £270 back into people's pockets by cutting energy bills and slashing VAT for high street hospitality. Labour, meanwhile, have said that people are earning £500 per year more. Now, here, they're certainly hoping that turns into spending. Joining me now is Kate. Kate has been the boss here for 18 years. Kate, we were chatting earlier and you were saying that although people have been coming past the shop and coming into the shop, you're not quite seeing the spending that you are expecting around this time of year compared to the previous years.
Yeah, absolutely. So the last few years have been tough, to be honest with you, but we set our targets for this year kind of based on last year's trading, and we're slightly down this year. We have a lot of people coming in and looking and browsing, and we have a lot of people, actually the chocolate sales aren't doing too badly, and we're really hoping it's like the 3 biggest days coming up, so we're really hoping for kind of a big push. We're making them as fast as we can. I think we're struggling a little bit. We see the kind of hospitality side of things, so we're still getting really good footfall, and I think people would come in and think, oh wow, they're really busy, but individually everyone's just cutting back a little bit, so perhaps having the coffee but not having the cake to go with it, or sharing a slice between a couple of people. So that's sort of feeling the pinch a little bit for us, but yeah, hoping for a good few days ahead.
Okay, Kate, thank you. I'm sure so many other business owners will echo what you had to say. We also had a chat with the Small Businesses Consortium, and this is what they had to say about predictions for sales across the next few days.
We're expecting a 19% increase in spend with small businesses this Christmas. People are more conscious about how they spend their money. Partly that's about budgets, but partly it's also about values as well. People are thinking more sustainable. They're thinking, how can I support my local community? And particularly, I think when you're spending a bit less, you are a little more thoughtful.
Well, they're certainly hoping that 19% increase in spending, they'll see that here on the shop floor and behind the tills. Expectations are high here, along with the amount of chocolate in the air, Sean.
I'm sure business.
Okay, I wish them well, but the way the economy is going, not just in the US, in the UK as well, but for the US, it's a self-inflicted, okay? It didn't have to be that way, but here we are. But people are focusing on things that is meaningful. If you don't have money to buy food to put on the table, why will you spend your money on chocolate? So this is, chocolate will be the last, I will assume, the last thing they will spend their money on. So there's that. I'm just gonna read what's there. There's the life. Yeah, only GMB will visit a specialist chocolate shop to discuss a cost of living crisis. Just like I was saying. Okay, why will you spend money on chocolate when you can even the basic nutrition? Alright, I wonder if they feel even a shred of guilt that their citizens have to rely on food banks and soup kitchen. I used to talk about this a lot about the UK because the UK has a lot of organization and stuff like that to help people. And then now I think the US is gonna be on the same thing if we do not change course. But a good chunk of the money, the first thing Trump did when he got to the power, not only did all those executive orders, but he took the money out. The money is in not Venezuela. What's the country? Nacho's country. What's the name of that country again? Oh my God. Argentina. Okay, you could look into it, but it pretty much is like they're stealing the U.S. money. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But I think there are some people who are now feeling the pain of what many African Americans were trying to prevent. So they thought only African American will be dealt with that. So what Trump is doing, okay, to make sure African American don't have money, he's fired all those people he was firing. He thought it's mostly African American who were there. You know what? I cannot even get in these people's brain because all they have in their brain is savagery, okay, to hurt people. To hurt people for no apparent reason. What I see is happening right now, because right now, when those Republicans and the MAGAs realize that the people are not voting for Republicans are the ones who's in, I'm saying this because of people outside of the US who may not know. Okay, there's Democrat and there's Republican and there's Independent. But the two main political parties in the US are Democrats and Republicans. So Democrats were the group that aligned with Kamala Harris and Biden. The group that's in power right now are the Republicans. And they have another branch of that, which they just created, is the MAGAs. So now some of those people of the Republican Party who were aligning with Trump, when they realized that now some of those MAGAs are not voting for them anymore, because there's been a lot of smaller elections that's been happening in different parts of the country. Okay, the Republicans are not winning. So what I see is happening now, they're repeating. Let me make sure I explain this correctly, because I see these things in images. What the MAGAs are doing now, they are repeating the same tactic that they did in the main election, where they went in and divide the people, okay? Racism, the Hispanics, the African American, the Caribbean blacks, whatnot, the Asians, they divide them, okay? So this is how the Republican won the main election. I have raised that in many different ways. So what they're doing right now within the Republican Party, same tactic, okay? They are dividing the Republican Party, where I think, I don't pay too much attention to it, but each time I take a pic and I sort of summarize everything. the MAGAs against the typical Republicans, and the other ones. What are the other ones? The Charlie Kirk type of, the Shapiro type of Republicans. So once you divide this, and the MAGAs, because the population of the MAGAs, they still confused. Their brain are empty. Anything that will, nonsense that will make them happy, they'll go for it. Okay? So they're getting ready for the next main election, for the next presidential election. So what they're doing right now, the MAGAs, the Republicans, are trying to divide themselves, so that way any one of them, okay, any one of them, even though they divided, but any one of them will still do the job. What do I mean by that? Let's say the group of the MAGAs, the Trump, if they win, they'll continue the objective. If the typical Republicans, the old George Bush type of people, if they win, they will continue the work that Trump is doing. If the Charlie Kirk Republican wins, guess what? They will still do the job that Trump is doing. So they don't care. So they're trying to grab whoever, okay, will get the job on. But what's happening here, the main thing is they do not want the Democrats, the Biden, the Kamala Harris, the Obama type of group to be in office. Okay, so the MAGA is starting to divide themselves, but any one of them, if they get the job, if they get the win, they'll continue the job. That's the way that I see it. All right, so that's that. Let's go to the next. And the only reason that they're dividing themselves is because right now, the smaller election that keeps on happening in different parts of the country, even in the red states where Trump has won, where Trump had won in big numbers, they are losing. Okay? So by dividing the Republicans, okay, that way they could still capture some of those MAGAs to get them in office. But like I've said in the original recording, it's just that they do not want any Democrats to gain power, because if Democrats get into power, they all are in big trouble. People will be going to jail. Okay? So a lot of red states where Trump have won, okay, they're not winning. Because now those MAGAs are finally getting it, because it's affecting them not only in their pockets, they're losing their houses, they don't have money to buy food. So it's hitting them in ways that they did not expect. They thought it was going to affect the African American or the Latinos or anyone that they consider in their white supremacy type of things. So what's happening right now, because the Republicans still want to maintain power, as of now, they are in control of every branch of the government, the executive, the judicial, because of all the Supreme Court, not all, the majority of the Supreme Court are in favor of Trump's type of things, the House of Representatives, the Senate, what else? The executive, I think I said that already. They are in control of everything. So when people outside of the country are saying, oh my God, how come the people are not doing anything? They're doing the work, okay? Small things are happening in different parts of the country that you are not seeing, okay? So keep that in mind. And I've said that in past videos, in order to fight them, you have to do it legally, because if they do it illegally, then that will give the MAGAs a reason to go against them and say, look, they're not even following the law, even though the MAGAs are not following the law, okay? But to beat them, you have to do it according to what's in the books, okay? So there's a lot going on. I didn't want this to be about politics, but it comes up. Things like that always popped up on my podcast. All right, so I'm only going in my crazy way of explaining it, because there are people outside of the country who may not see some of the things that's happening within the country, because mainstream media not reporting it. And these are the things I've highlighted in the past, how the media is being captured, defunding, NPR, CNN, and all of that. The Murdoch Group are trying to grab all form of communication to keep people in the dark. And I have to give a lot of, how do they call them? Some political influencers who's highlighting some of this stuff. Not the way that I do, because I don't go into, I'm trying to protect my mental health, because when I look at this stuff that's going on in Washington, these are things that could make you very upset, and that will affect you, the way you move around with your family and deal with your spouses and things like that. These things, I realize it did happen to me at one point. This is why I take a step back, but occasionally I have to pay attention, so when I go vote, I know who to vote for. But there are influencers who, maybe some of them are in college doing, I don't know, going for their, how do they call this, for their law degree, and, you know, or in different branch into politics. So they have to pay attention to this, and sometimes many of them create their content based on that because they are more knowledgeable. So I have to give a lot of creators like Midas Touch, I think they're already professionals, they are lawyers, and some other young people who knows what's going on or telling the truth. So I'm not that type, because when I look into those politics things, it could make you very upset. All right, but I'm just watering down in my crazy way of explaining how I see it. Okay, so let's get back to the original recording. Sometime I think I should create one specific video to talk about these things, but they don't come up like that. It's when I'm reading those tweets. All right, next tweet.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness, and please come back.
The love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. Together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together. The
because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.